Hi everybody, welcome to With Love by Carrie. Today I'm going to show you how to simply make a Mickey Mouse head and convert it into a Minnie Mouse head in Silhouette. It really is like a beginner's tutorial, so let's dig in. What I'm going to show you how to make today are these. Now we can make them just like this, or we could just make them into a Mickey with stripes, or just a plain black Mickey. So let's get started. I'm going to move these off to the side, and what I do is we go straight to Google and I find in images a Mickey Mouse head outline, and you want to find one that has a high resolution. So I have 15 by 1159. This one is less, as you could see the number underneath, and this one's even less. You could even take a solid one, but that one really is small. The bigger the resolution, the better your trace will become. So let's open this one, and when you open it, always go to view image. If you go to view image, you can actually see how big the item is, or the image is. So all I do is copy, and I go into Silhouette, and let me start with a fresh sheet, and I paste it in. Here we go. So this is your Mickey. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace and detach. You see the background? We want that gone. So select trace area and then highlight the whole thing, and you notice the yellow line pops up immediately. But right over here there's a little bit of black still, so to get it a better trace, we want to up the threshold. Let me up that just a little bit, and you notice how that's filled in, and we got a pretty good trace. And now I'm going to trace and detach. Sometimes if there's a lot of detail, it will take a lot longer, and just the outline got taken away, so we don't need this. We're going to delete it, highlight it, and then just press delete. I don't know any of the control panels on the keyboard. I do everything within the program. Okay, so now I want to trace this, and I want to have it with an outline. I am partial to the coloring book look, with a black outline on everything that I do. So what I mean is this black line will be there when I color them in. So what we're going to do is we're going to select trace area, and we're going to trace Mickey Mouse's head again, and this time it came out nice. And now we're going to do the double butterfly. That's what I call it, or some people call it the double flower. If you only wanted to trace the outside, then you'd hit trace outer edge. I want a double line. So that's what happens when you trace with the double butterfly. So trace it, and now I move Mickey out of the way, and I have the double line, as you could see. And the only thing that you could do is, now it's one piece. If you click on it, it's all one piece. We want to detach that. So as it's selected, you're going to right click, and you're going to hit release compound path. Now you have two pieces. Okay, and let's put that back together by hitting the arrow to return. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want the bow, because I want to make this a Minnie Mouse. So I'm going to make this whole silhouette smaller. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go in to Minnie Mouse bows. And that's image for Google. So I'm looking at all of them, and again, you want to get a high resolution. And you could pick one that's very simple, like this. I like to go one step further. There's this one, but the resolution's very low. I like this bow. I like the idea that it looks 3D. or even this one, but the resolution is really small. So let's open this one and view image, and now we're going to copy it, go back into Silhouette, and I'm going to paste it. And it's got a black background. Now to get rid of that black background, because you could never trace something like this, you have to really save it to your computer, and then it'll come up with a white background. So let's delete that one and go back to the Google. Get rid of this one, and I'm going to take, let's see, let's see, I don't like that one. Let's try this one. I'm going to open it, open the image. It looks like it's going to be a great trace, so let's copy it, and everything is really trial and error. And paste, and it does have a white background, and let's see what we could do here. So select trace area, let's get rid of that background, see what happens. Alright, this is fine. The way that it's colored in and the dots are still there, that's fine. We're going to trace and detach. Get rid of this, and let me move Mickey's head over and bring the bow in, and now we're going to select, because I want to trace it. Now when I trace this, I want this line, I want this line, I want all the details. I don't want the dots, I just want the details. So let's see what we could do here. Now the threshold came up very high. Let's lower that a little bit and see what happens. Just a little higher. Nope, down. I want to bring it up just, nope. That 1 millisecond. Okay, so there we go. And now you can see that all the lines that I wanted are there. And I'm going to trace it with the double butterfly, because I want all the lines. And there you go. You have your bow. I'll move that off to the side. And that's all one piece. Now we're going to put it on the Mickey to make it a Minnie. Whoops. Let's grab that. Bring that in. Bring my bow. Now depending on where you want to put your bow. We gotta make the bow bigger, obviously, because Minnie has a big bow on her head. We could do it in the middle, or we could tilt it and put it off to the side, wherever you'd like. And I think I'm going to put it off to the side for you guys. Alright. That looks pretty good right there. Now you have all your lines. Now what? So what I want to do is I want this bow to sit inside this part of Mickey's face and this part of Mickey's ear to make her Minnie. So I want the bow to actually sit inside it. I want it to be encased with a black line around it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take the inside of Mickey's head and pull it out, and I'm going to detach this, which means I'm going to release the compound path, so all the pieces are separate, but we want to keep them together. So I'm going to click on each one individually by holding shift. If you hold shift, you could group things together at one time. Instead of grabbing it and bringing one piece over at a time, we could do it all at once. So hit shift, click. I want all of these inside pieces, and I'm going to hit group. Right click and then group. Now grab the bow and bring it out. Now I have the outside of the bow and I have the outside of Mickey's head. So I am going to drag a box around both so they're both highlighted, and I'm going to weld. So we're going to right click and then hit weld. Now that's going to be your whole background. We're going to bring your bow back in, and this is where your bow would sit. And let's just, so that we could see what we're doing here. So I'm going to make it a pink bow, and I'll make Minnie's head black and bring that in, and there you go. And then you'd make the background black. Now, I don't want her to be black, and I don't want that to be pink. So let's redo that. So now that I have this, that's fine. This is going to be black because that's my background. And we're going to bring that off to the side. I want Minnie's head to be red and white stripes. I want to make this an American flag like I did on the other one. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. See, like this. Okay. Now let's go back to where we were. And what I did was, it's got a mind of its own. Going to close out of the bow, and then I went to Google and I put in red and white image, and now I have that. Now with the papers, I save them. What I do is I'll just right click, copy, then go to my folder where I keep all my papers and paste it. I hardly ever keep anything in Silhouette. My computer crashed and I lost everything. So anything that I save off the internet for my personal use, I put it into folders. So I put it into my folder already. And we'll put that, close that down, open up Silhouette, and now open this. Now all we have to do is left click on the paper in your folder, drag it over, and put it right in to the picture if you wanted. Okay? Or move Mickey's head over this way, open up my folder again, bring the paper in, bring Mickey's head, it's behind the paper. So now what I want to do is I want to click the paper and send that back so that Mickey's head is forward. So send back. So you right click, you get your drop down, send back. There you go. We've got now the bow and Mickey on top of the paper. But Mickey's black, so I can't see through it, so I want to make it see-through. There we go. Now you could line Mickey up, where Mickey's head, where you'd want it, so that either there's no white on the edge, or what we could do also is make, well, this paper's big, the paper a little smaller, so the lines are smaller. You do what you want in terms of your decisions. Okay, so there we go. That's the way I like my paper on here. I have the red on the corner of the ears. On this, I have it where I'd like it. So now I have to highlight both of them. So the paper's highlighted, and you could see that it's highlighted by the measurements on the side and those dots where you could pull and distort your paper. That's selected, and you want both selected. So now I'm going to hit Shift and hit Mickey's face. So now I have Mickey's face highlighted and the paper highlighted. Then we're going to go to the weld window, which is this one. It's the modified panel. Excuse me, I got my own names for things. Hit that, and we're going to hit crop. Now you have Mickey's head just as the stripes. And now I want the bow to be blue and white stars, which I have right here. Let me move that over a little bit. And what you have to do is you have to bring it in individually for each piece. And I don't want this one to be blue and white stars. I want it to be stripes. So there. Okay. But again, I like when my pieces have a black background around it. So what I want to show you is, see how it looks like a coloring book? But with this bow, since there's pieces, I don't want this red to be seen through. I want it to be black so that it looks like a coloring book picture and there is an outline. So let me bring this closer in. And I am going to duplicate the bow because you'll see what's going to happen in a minute. I duplicate the bow and I bring this bow off to the side. And I want to highlight, I want to click the bow. And I want to click the striped Mickey's head. And again, we're going to go back to the modify, and I want to subtract I made a mistake. Let me go back a minute. I'll show you what I mean. What we need to do is we need to offset this bow a minute. Okay, so let's offset this. You hit the offset, which is the star, and it's got another star around it. So that means it's an offset. It's one outside of the original. An inset would be one set inside the original. So we want to do an offset, and I bring this down to 0.50, and I leave it on curved, not cornered. I usually use corner when I do lettering. So we leave it on curved, I apply, and now the background, we're going to go to the paint bucket or palette, and I'm going to make that black. See, that's what I want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bow off, and I'm going to bring this bow and put it on top of here. I'm going to put it on top of the stripes. Now I'm going to select the bow, and I'm going to select Mickey's head with the stripes, and then I'm going to go to the modified window again, and now I'm going to subtract. Now you'll see that I have two separate striped parts of Mickey's head. So let's see, I'm going to unclick, and I'm going to move this. Let's put that back and click this part, and it's gone. Okay, I'll put that back, and you'll see now I'm going to click on the big Mickey head, and if you could see, I have two pieces now. And put that back. Now watch. I put the bow on top, and I have my coloring book picture lines that I wanted. And basically you're done. Now one step further for what I did in terms of my Minnie when I did it out of paper, because I wanted to make it a centerpiece. I made, since I didn't have red and white paper, I made red and white stripes. I went one step further. So if I take this and I group them, and I bring it off to the side, let's bring this off to the side so I can work on this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this. I'm first going to duplicate it. I always duplicate everything so that this way I have an original. I'm going to do a trace. So I unclick it, I go to the select trace area, I highlight this, and you'll notice all these lines and everything. We're going to up the threshold. Up the threshold. There we go. I wanted solid lines. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace the outer edge of those lines. And now I'm going to move this away. So what I did was, this I would now color in red. These will be red paper that I cut out. And then I would put a white piece of paper cut out with this outline, because this is a solid and this is just red lines. So this, instead of it being stripes, we'll make that white. Well, let's make it gray so that this way you could see it a little later. Okay. So what I would do is all the separate pieces of paper I would make. Now let me make this smaller so I could show you. I would cut out of red paper this, out of white paper that. Okay, I cut this out of either blue paper, or I would find paper that has stars on it and cut that out. And then I'd cut this out in black. So you'd have the black, then the white, and then you would put all your red stripes on the white, and then do your blue bow. And there you go. You'd have Minnie. Well, everything is done with a little bit of love by me. I love when I make things and I put a smile on people's face. So if you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. And if you liked it, put a comment. And if there's any questions that you need me to answer, if you have a picture that you want me to help you with, leave me a message and I will get to you. Alrighty, thank you and have a wonderful day.